back to Sade Crochets. For this video we will be making a beautiful moss stitch bikini bottom, which is a part of a bikini set. So part 2 of this set will feature the top, so be sure to check that out next. I do recommend that if you are a beginner, maybe you should make the bikini bottom first out of the set, because it's just a little bit easier. Starting off, the top is a little bit harder, and if you have experience doing this bikini bottom, then the top will be easier, so I recommend to do that second. But we are going to go over sizes small through 3X, and you will need a medium weight 4 yarn and an F hook, which is a 3.75 millimeter hook. So let's jump right in. Okay, so I'm going to make a slip knot, but leave my tail a little bit long so I can brush and join it later. Then I'm going to chain out my foundation chains. So size small, medium, and large can chain out 10 chains. 1X, 2X, and 3X can chain out 14 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then from here, we're going to put 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So we're going to skip this first chain and then put a single crochet in the second chain. And then from there, we're going to chain 1, skip the next chain space, and put a single crochet in the next chain space. And we'll just repeat that. Chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in that last stitch. You might have a few more depending on your size. So that was row 1. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And then we'll single crochet in the first stitch, and then here we have a chain 1 space here, so we're going to put a single crochet into that chain 1 space, and then we'll chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet into that next chain 1 space. So we're skipping the single crochet and then single crochet in the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, skip 1, skip the single crochet, and single crochet in the chain 1 space. We're doing that across. And then when you get to the end, you'll end with a single crochet in the chain 1 space, and you'll have 1 stitch left. So in that last stitch, you'll just put a single crochet. Okay, and that was row 2, and so row 2 is the first row of our first repeat, and here's the second row of our repeat. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then you're going to skip this next single crochet and single crochet in the chain 1 space. So most of our stitches, most of our single crochets will be in the chain 1 spaces, unless it's like the first or the last. So chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, and then we'll chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next chain 1 space, and then chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet. So that was the second row of our repeat. We can repeat one more time together, but this is what it looks like so far. And so let's do the repeat one more time, and the only difference is that the even rows here have 2 single crochets in a row before we start on that little chain 1, skip 1, and then the odd rows right now have just single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. So let's do it again together. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, Then we're going to single crochet in that chain 1 space. So you'll have 2 single crochets in a row. And then we'll do our chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. So chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, and that was your last chain 1 space. And now you'll just single crochet in that last stitch, and then from there we'll chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then we're going to go straight into chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next chain 1 space. And we'll just repeat that. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, and chain 1, skip 1, single crochet until the last stitch. So we're going to continue repeating rows 2 and 3. In size small, you're going to continue repeating until row 14 is complete. A medium and a large, you're going to finish row 16. 1X and 2X will finish row 18, and 3X will finish row 20. Okay, so once you finish your repeating rows, this is what it looks like. And you can see that the single crochets are staggered every other row and with the chain 1 spaces. So now we're going to start on our next row of repeats. So we'll chain 1 and turn our work, and just make note of where your middle stitch is here. It should be a chain 1 space for everybody. Okay, so we're going to do our increase in this middle stitch. So what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn, and then single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. Now we're at our middle stitch, which is a chain 1 space. So in the chain 1 space, we're going to put a single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet in the same stitch. So that's how we do our middle stitch. And so every time we get to this middle stitch, which will always be the chain 1 space now, we'll do that same increase there. Okay, so from there we're going to continue with the pattern, which is working into the chain 1 spaces. So you should have a single crochet next. So above that we'll chain 1 and skip 1, and then we'll single crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in that last stitch, or you'll have one more set if you chained 14 in your foundation. Okay, so from here what you're going to do is chain 1 and turn, and this is the second row of the repeat, and it's similar. The only difference between these two rows is, again, the odd rows start off with single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, and the even rows, just like before, are 2 single crochets in a row before we start on our pattern. So now we're going to single crochet in the first stitch and single crochet in that chain 1 space, and then from here we'll chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in that next chain 1 space, and then chain 1, skip 1, and now we're at our middle stitch here, and so in there we'll do our increase again. So we're going to single crochet in that middle chain space, chain 1, and single crochet again in the same space. And that's our next increase. And now we'll continue with our pattern. So we're at a single crochet, so we'll chain 1, skip that single crochet, and work into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next chain 1 space, and you'll keep doing that until you reach the end of the row, and in that last stitch you'll put another single crochet. So those are the 2 rows that we're going to repeat. So from here, we'll do that repeat one more time together. So chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and we'll chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet into that next chain 1 space, chain 1, skip 1, and now we're at that middle chain 1 space where we will do our increase. So single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the same space, and then from there we'll continue our pattern. So we'll chain 1 and skip this next single crochet, and single crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and we'll do that all the way to the end of the row. And that's the first row of the repeat again, so we'll do the second row together as well. So we'll chain 1 and turn, and then we'll single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet into this next chain 1 space, and then we'll continue by continuing with the moss stitch, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, skip 1, and when you get to your middle stitch, we will do our increase again. So single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch, and then we'll chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next chain 1 space, and repeat that all the way until we get to have 1 stitch left, and in that last stitch we'll just single crochet. So you can see now it's starting to increase, and we're going to continue that increase for quite some time. So for size small, you're going to increase, continue these 2 rows until you reach row 40. A medium, you're going to go until you reach row 44, and a large will finish row 48. 1X will finish row 52, 2X will finish row 56, and 3X will finish row 60. So continue that repeat and I'll meet you there. Okay, so this is what it looks like once you're done with your repeating rows, and then we're going to chain 1 and fasten off. And now you can either double knot your string to this very first stitch here, or you can do a magic knot or a Russian join. I'm going to Russian join mine off camera, but you can feel free to like YouTube search if you don't know how to Russian join. Okay, so once you have your string attached to this corner, whether you Russian joined or you did a magic knot or just tied it to this stitch here, we're going to pull up a loop and chain 1 and turn our work. And then from here we're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch across. So you should have either 9 or 13 single crochets depending on how many you had in your foundation chain to start off with. So we're just putting 1 single crochet in every stitch across. Okay, so once you have your 1 single crochet in every stitch across, then we're going to chain 1 and turn. So now we are going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then chain 1, skip 1, and repeat that. Chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next stitch, and chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in that last stitch, or keep going if you had 13 stitches. So from here we're going to chain 1 and turn, and so this is going to be like considered row 3 of the back. So from here we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then single crochet in that chain 1 space, and then start on our moss stitch. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, until you have 1 stitch left, and then single crochet in that last stitch. So we're just doing 2 rows of the basic moss stitch, and now we're going to start to increase again for the back. So find your middle stitch, which should still be a chain 1 space. Okay, so just make note of where that is. And then we're going to start that repeating pattern again. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, that repeat increasing pattern. And it's a 2-row repeat once again. So chain 1, turn, and then single crochet in the first stitch, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, and now we're at our middle stitch, or you have like one more if you're 1x or up. So chain 1, skip 1 until you get to the middle stitch, and then single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the middle stitch, just like we did on the other side. And then from there we'll chain 1, skip 1, single crochet until we get to the end. Chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet. Okay, so that's the first row of the repeat. So now we'll chain 1 and turn, and this should be row 5 of the back. So now we're going to single crochet in the first stitch and single crochet into the next chain 1 space, and then we'll chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and now we're in the middle stitch. So we'll do a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, and in the last stitch until you have 1 stitch left, and then we'll just single crochet in the last stitch. So it's pretty much the same repeating pattern as the other side. We can do one more together, chain 1 and turn, and then for the even rows we go straight into chain 1, skip 1. So we're single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet until we get to the middle stitch, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. Now we're at the middle, and then we'll increase in the middle by putting a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the middle, and then we'll continue with that moss stitch pattern, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet until we get to the end of the row. And then we'll chain 1 and turn our work and do the second row of the repeat. So for the odd numbers, we'll have, just for the back, we'll have 2 single crochets in a row for the odd rows. So single crochet in the first stitch and single crochet in the next chain 1 space, and then we'll do our moss stitch. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet until we hit the middle. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. Now we're at that middle stitch. Now we can insert our hook in there and put a single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet in the same stitch, and then we will chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet until you have 1 stitch left, and then you'll single crochet in that last stitch. So that is the repeating pattern. It's pretty much the same as the front. I think the odds and even rows are flipped for the back, but it is pretty much the same. So let's see. So size small, you're going to repeat those 2 rows until you finish row 40 again. Medium's going to finish 44. Large will finish 48. 1X will finish 52. 2X will finish row 56, and 3X will finish row 60. So it's the same as you did in the front. So this is what it should look like once you finish your repeats. And from there, once you're done with your repeats, we're going to chain 1 and then fasten off. So now we're going to do the ties. So what we're going to do is start off with a new string and start chaining out our chain. So make a slip knot, and then we're going to chain our first part of the tie. So size small, you can chain out 100 chains. A medium can do 110, a large is 120, 1X is 130, 2X is 140, and 3X is 145 chains. And once you chain your chain for your side, I'm going to start off with the front side here, the front panel. So you want to make sure that your tail is on the right hand side if you're right-handed, or on the left hand side if you're left-handed, and that'll make sure that you're going in that every other row pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep our chain on our hook and then insert our hook into that very first stitch of the row. I'm actually going to, here. Okay, and we're not going to be able to weave over this tail because we have a chain 1 space in between, so we'll leave that tail out this time. So we're going to pull up a loop and single crochet into that very first stitch, and then we'll chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next, and we'll just repeat our moss stitch pattern as we left off. And we're gonna continue this until we get to the middle stitches. All right, I'm almost at the middle. Chain 1, skip 1, and now I'm in the middle stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and put a single crochet into that middle stitch. And then from there, I'm going to chain out however many chains I chained before. So it should be 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, or 145 chains. And then once you're done with your chain, you can go ahead and fasten off. And now we're going to chain the same amount of chains with our new string, just like we did before. So make a slip knot and chain out the same amount of chains that you did on the previous 2 chains. All right, so once you chain your chain for your size, then we're going to single crochet into that middle stitch area again. So we'll insert our hook into that middle chain 1 space, and then single crochet, pull up a loop and single crochet, and then we'll continue with our moss stitch pattern. So chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next chain 1 space, and then we'll repeat that all the way down until you have 1 stitch left. I'm sorry, you repeat that all the way down and then just complete your row normal. So chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the last stitch, and then we will chain out the same chain that we've been doing for your size. And then when you finish that chain, we will fasten off. And so now we're just going to repeat for the back side. So you're going to chain out your chain that's long enough for your size, and then you're going to make sure that your tail is on your dominant hand side, and then you'll reattach your yarn to that corner stitch, and then you'll keep in line with whatever your last row's stitch pattern was doing. So if you have a chain one space right there, then you'll put a single crochet there, or if you have a single crochet there, then you'll chain one, skip one. So just follow the pattern as you normally would, and we'll just repeat what we did for the back. So you will continue your moss stitch until the middle, do your same chain, fasten off, and then do the same thing for the other side, and you will be finished. So this is what your project should look like once you're done with your strings, and then you just need to weave in your tail. Alright, so once you weave in all of your tails, this is what your bikini should look like once it's folded and all the strings are on there. So it's not too hard of a project. You are done with your moss stitch bikini bottom, and in part 2 we are going to go ahead and do the bikini top for this set. So it can be worn like straight like this, or you can kind of turn it upside down to where it goes like that. So you'll see it on the pictures anyway, but yeah, be sure to check out the matching top for part 2. And thank you all once again so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave me a comment if you like this video, and I'll catch you on part 2 when we make the bikini top. Bye guys!